Okay, so we've worked the network. You've identified people from your database who are in your referral network who can become partners with you. You've learned how to network the network. You've discovered how to ask people in your information support and, of course, your referral network to introduce you to the people that you need to know that you don't have in your network currently. But what are you going to do if you still have a gap? How can we fill the gap? Well, I've got one tactic left in my arsenal, and it's this. Yep, network. Only when I am having difficulty populating my own referral team, or I'm out helping my referral partners populate their referral team, do I network. So once you get your team together and once you're working this process, eventing, which is going to a network, standing around with a plate of cocktail-weenies and a Chardonnay, wondering why on earth you came, you don't have to do that anymore. Isn't that great? Like, yay! We don't have to do it anymore. The reason that you go is you go to add people to your team, professionals to your team, or add professionals to your referral partners' teams. And that's how we build the network. So let me talk with you a little bit about appropriate networking, how to network for success, rather than doing, as you know, that "Are you my mama" marketing, right? Which is going to a networking event and saying, "Are you my client? Are you my client? You should be my client. Ooh, oh man, you need to be my client." Because really, when we do that, we get a reputation as being a bit pushy, a bit aggressive, maybe a little bit of a vampire, a networking vulture, and we want to avoid having that problem. We want to avoid having that reputation. So here are my 10 best tips for effective networking that helps you build your referral network and build your referral team and bring you referral success. So number 1. Have your networking tools with you. I cannot tell you how many times I go to a networking event and someone doesn't have a name tag on. Your name tag is your front porch. Talk to Scott Ginsburg. Hello, my name is Scott. When people know your name, it's an invitation for them to approach you and to want to talk to you. No name tag, probably not going to get a whole lot of approaching you. You're going to have to chase after people. And let's face it, chasing after people is so awkward and it's really no fun. So have your name badge. Business cards. Have you ever been to an event where you've asked someone, "Can I have your business card?" And they go, "Oh man, left them all in the car. I don't have any business cards." Or you yourself have had that as an issue. You've had the situation where you're trying to network with people, but you've run out of cards, or you left your cards in the car or at home on your desk. You also want to have a Sharpie marker to write on the back of cards, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. Your calendar. What if you find somebody who will automatically set a meeting with you? You're going to want to have your calendar ready. And you know what? My favorite, breath mints. I like those Listerine strips, but there's nothing like coffee breath to turn off a networking conversation. So I always have those so that I can be pleasant with the people that are around me. So have a little pack with your networking tools. I actually put them in a zipper bag. I put my name badge is in there, my business cards are in there, my Sharpie is in there, my calendar's in my phone, and a little thing of breath mints. They're all in a little zip pack. They're in my car. I've got them in my car. I've got them in my purse. I've got them in every bag so that I'm always prepared to network, and I never catch myself having forgotten the tools of the trade. So the second tip I have for you. Set goals. Most times people go networking because they should. There's an event. They go, "Ooh, an event. There will be people there. I can hand out my business cards. I can collect up some business cards." That's not why we're going to go network. You really want to go to network with goals or objectives or a purpose. So how many people will you meet? How will you know that your networking event was successful? Well, I wanted to meet 5 people, and I did. Whom specifically do you want to meet? One of the really important things that you can do to prepare for a networking event is to find out who's going and decide of who's going, with whom do you want to make a valuable connection. Because then you can say, "Hi, have you seen Joe McGillicuddy? Oh, Joe's over there. Would you mind introducing me?" You can get the introduction if you know who you're looking for. Besides that, if you don't know a specific person, what professionals do you want to meet? Do you want to meet attorneys? Do you want to meet CPAs? Do you want to meet veterinarians? And hey, if you want to meet veterinarians and there are no veterinarians going to the networking event, there's really not a lot of reason to go spend your 2 hours there unless you're going to go somewhere where there's a lot of people who know veterinarians and you could ask them for introductions. But it's really important to know what professionals you need to network with and what professionals your referral partners need to fill their gaps so that you can go network on their behalf as well. So what professionals do you need to meet? Set those goals, set those objectives. Now, once you get to the networking event, there's some things that you can do to make networking more pleasant and less awkward. So here's number 3. I love this. Act like a host instead of a guest. So what you do is you get to the event a little early and you say to the organizers, can I be of any service to you? Do you need an extra pair of hands? How can I help? Sometimes they say, nope, we've got it all under control. We're great. So then what I do is I scope out the food, I scope out the bar, I find where the restrooms are, and I position myself in a place to be a bit of a connector. I might ask the organizers, well, so who's coming tonight? Who do you expect to see? I see if there's anyone I know coming. And then when people come in the door, I say, oh, hi, I'm Virginia. It's so great that you could come today. We've got the wine over here and the cocktail weenies over there, and the bathrooms are straight that way. Women's room over here and men's room over to the right. I literally look like a stewardess, right? But I get credibility with the organizers because I'm helping their guests feel comfortable. I feel okay because I'm in a place of service to the people that are coming in the door, and it doesn't have to be official. So some people say, so are you a member of this organization or are you on their hospitality committee? And I say, nope, just a guest like you, just like meeting people and being of service. You really can make yourself more comfortable and you enhance your credibility with both the organization and the people that are meeting you for the first time. So act like a host instead of a guest. Number 4. Be prepared. Have your 7-second memorized, practiced in front of the mirror. Know what you're going to say. I help my tribe solve this problem so they can experience a benefit. You absolutely need to be prepared. So when someone says, what do? You don't say, I sell shoes, right? We've learned that that isn't an effective way to network. So make sure your 7-second is great, and then decide which stories are you going to tell that day. What is your full 30-second elevator pitch going to sound like? Get that prepared, get it rehearsed, and get ready to tell people who you are and how you solve problems instead of speaking for 30, 60, 90 seconds about your pens, your paper clips, your koozies, your flip-flops, whatever it is that you sell, right? That's not how you want to have that conversation. So be prepared with your elevator pitch. Number 5. Use what we call a funneling conversation. So a funneling conversation will help you achieve your objectives. Remember, you have 2 objectives now when you're networking. When you're networking, you are not prospecting. You are not prospecting, at least not for yourself. You might be prospecting for a referral partner, but you're not prospecting for you. So when you're in front of a person, you're going to use a funneling conversation, and the idea is to figure out, is this a prospect for a referral partner? Is this a potential referral partner for me? Is this a potential referral partner for someone in my network? And so that's going to help you know how to get out of the conversation based on who they are and what purpose they might serve in your network. The number one thing that you need to do in the funneling conversation is be interesting. And the way you can be most interesting is by being interested. Your mom at some point in your life probably said this to you. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use them in direct proportion, right? You want to listen in these conversations twice as much as you talk. You've been captured, I'm sure, by people who talk. You can't even get a word in edgewise, and mostly they're talking about their stuff. So that doesn't really help you very much either. So you want to be interesting by being interested. And the way to be interested is to ask great questions that get people speaking positively about their business. Here's why. If I can get you talking positively about your business, your brain is going to release a chemical into your system called oxytocin. It's a bonding chemical. It's the chemical that mothers and babies have. It's the chemical that we have with our significant others that makes us feel loved and wanted and accepted. If you can get people looking at you and speaking positive things about their business and their life to you, they are going to fall in love with you. You become instantly magnetic, instantly attractive, and then you can decide how you want to move them through your network. So you can start asking questions, very simple questions like, so Joe, what is it that you do? How did you get in that line of business? What do you enjoy most about helping people? How do you help people? What kind of challenges does your industry face? How well are you handling those challenges? You know what? Tell me about an ideal client. Tell me a success story, someone you've really helped. I really want to understand what you do and how you help people. What professionals do you network with the most? And my favorite question, the last question that I always ask is, if I tripped over your ideal prospect in the meeting tonight, how would I know that they needed to be referred to you? Really what I'm saying to them is, what should I look for? What should I listen for? And what should I ask? I'm asking that question. No one asks you that question because everybody in the room is thinking about themselves and what they want. When you become other focused while you're in the room, when you really want to get to know those people and you want to get them in a positive relationship with you, you're going to do better. They're going to want to have a meeting with you. So here's what you're going to do to get out of the conversation, because this is part of the funnel, right? This is the bottom part of the funnel. Well, I'm in the conversation. Now, how do I get out of the conversation? So I really have 3 ways to get out of a conversation. The first one is this. If I'm talking with someone and I like them and I think they're going to be a really good addition to my network, I say, I think you'd make a great addition to my network. I'd love to have coffee with you and get to know you better and learn more about your business and tell you more about my business. And we could explore the possibilities of finding some synergies together. Is there any reason why you wouldn't want to get an appointment on the calendar? Would you like to do that now? Would you like to have my people call your people? Like, how do you want to do that? How do you want to set an appointment? Most people want to set an appointment right then and there. They whip out their smartphone, put it on the calendar, and you're in business. Now, let's just say that you don't need to know the person, but someone in your network, maybe a power player or a referral source, needs that. They've asked you to fill the gap for them. So you say to them, hey, you know what? I've got someone in my network who's actively seeking someone in your profession to refer to. I would love for the 3 of us to get together and see if you guys had any synergy. Is there any reason why I couldn't give you a call and we could set something up for the 3 of us to get together? I could introduce you to my referral partner and you guys could see if there's any synergy. Why don't you give me my card? I'll have my people call your people, because I want to make sure that my referral partner wants the meeting, is willing to take the meeting, has time to take the meeting, and when they want to take the meeting. If I can make the meeting, awesome. If I can't make the meeting, I just excuse myself from it. I say, well, you guys are all introduced now, so you guys are big people. You can handle a meeting on your own. The last thing that I do is, if I'm talking with someone and I'm thinking, no, I don't really have anything for you personally, and I don't have any referral partners or referral sources, there's nobody in my referral network who really has anything, and I just met you, so I'm not going to give you a prospect, right? So I'm not going to pin my reputation on the back of somebody that I don't know. I might say something like, well, it's been so nice talking to you. I loved hearing about your poodle and your business. And why don't you give me a few of your business cards? I'm sure there's a lot of people that you need to meet. I personally have set a goal to meet about 7 people tonight, and we've only got an hour. So why don't you give me a couple of your business cards? And if I hear of anybody here that's looking to interact with someone in your profession, I will give them your card and I will send them your way. Would that be okay? Awesome. So nice to meet you. Thank you very much. And you can back out of the conversation. In all cases, you've ended a conversation in a way that says, I will work for you, I will add value to you, I will help you. So that's how you get out of the conversation. Now, it's unlikely that the first time you meet somebody, you're going to offer them a prospect, right? Promise me you will never do that you will never just give somebody a referral that you just met at an event. Because remember, you're pinning your reputation on their lapel and asking them to take care of it. And you don't even know who they are. You've let them in your room, but you don't even know who they are yet. So one of the things that's challenging is, well, I don't want to seem self-serving and I don't want to seem standoffish. So I always say, why not be someone who can lend some useful information? So that's number 6. Listen, have some useful information at your fingertips. Tell people about upcoming events like, oh, did you know about the big network after work on August 15th? Or did you know about the big chamber bash in October? Or do you know about the small business expo that's coming up in November? Let them know about things that are happening. They'll be grateful to you in the conversation. I always like to make sure before I go networking that I've dialed up like Forbes.com and Entrepreneur.com and Success.com. I read through some articles and I have some jazzy, juicy stuff to talk about. One of my favorite bloggers is a guy named James Clear, and he talks about building habits and how to change habits and how to create personal space for yourself. And it's personal, but you can apply it to business. And I love it. It's jamesclear.com. So if you go to jamesclear.com or you subscribe to some different blogs and you want to have something to talk about besides your stuff, that's how you're interesting, is by giving other people useful information. So we've got 6 so far, right? And I'm going to take you to number 7, which is this. I can't emphasize this enough. Offer your card when someone asks you for it. Let's face it, your card is valuable only in the hands of somebody who wants to know you. And if they don't ask, quite frankly, they don't want to know you. It means you haven't been interesting enough or added value to them enough for them to want to know you more. So if you go to a networking event and you find no one's asking for your card, that's the time to dial up your coach and say, hey, this is the conversation I'm having and no one is asking me for my card. What's up with that? Could be where you're networking, could be what you're looking for, but most of the time it's how you're showing up and how you're presenting yourself. I went to a networking event one time, and when I walked up the steps to enter the networking event, someone shoved their card at me so quickly when I walked right into the door that I fell backwards out of the building and landed on my personal assistant, which was embarrassing because it was a guy. And so the worst part was that I was speaking that day. So I ended up having like bloody legs, and my hair was all messed up, and I'd conked my head. And so I kind of got up and I went into the restroom to kind of, get somehow cleaned up so that I could be the speaker for this networking event. And I looked over in the trash can, and there were like 50 of this guy's business cards in the trash can, right? Because I didn't even know who he was, and he was already shoving a business card in my face. There are other ways that people do this. They show up at a networking event and they start dealing them out on the table where there's no one sitting before the networking event even happens. So when you sit down, someone's business card is on your plate. Well, what do we do with those business cards? Pick your teeth with them, write a note on the back of them, a reminder note. You're not really looking at the cards. So I've got to tell you, if people aren't asking you for your cards, just hang on to them, because it's true. They don't do very much for you sitting in a box on your desk, but they do even less for your credibility when they're in the trash can in the ladies' room, right? So hang on to those cards until someone asks, and work on being that interesting that people really want to know you. So number 8, this is tip number 8. Remember, you've set a goal, you have an objective. You're going to meet 5 people or 7 people, and you know what professions they are, or you know who they are, and you want to meet those professionals. If you spend your entire night talking with people you already know, or if you spend the entire time, 20, 30, 40 minutes captive to a conversation, you're not going to meet the objective. So keep a good eye on the clock or on your watch, and I really recommend wearing a watch, by the way, to networking events, because if it's on your smartphone and in order to check the time, you have to pull your smartphone out and look at your smartphone, it's kind of obvious and it's a little bit rude. So wear a watch or make sure that you keep an eye on the time and try to limit your conversations to 10 minutes. It really shouldn't take you more than 10 minutes to be able to ask those questions and garner how you want to get out of the conversation, right? Do I want to offer my card at an appointment? Do I want to offer to connect you to someone that I know? Or do I just need to get a couple of your cards and see if I can find somebody to send your way during the course of the event? So limit that, because otherwise you are not going to meet your goal. And by the way, do not try to close business while you're networking. So if by chance you bump into an active seeker who says, oh my gosh, I totally need a pet walker, I totally need an elder care attorney, I totally need a videographer, I need a marketing specialist, I need that. Say, that's great, let's set up a time to talk about that, because I know you've got a lot of people you want to meet, and I've got some people I'd like to meet too, and I couldn't do justice to the conversation in this room. I really want to hear what your needs are and make sure I'm the right fit for you and that I can get you the help that you're looking for. It's very important not to try to close business at a networking mixer at a social event, okay? Number 9. Now, I know that you probably think that if you've only talked to 7 to 10 people, you'll remember everything that happened in that conversation. But Mary Kay Ash said that the faintest ink is better than the most retentive memory. So the recommendation is, as you're speaking with someone, be actively remembering. It's going to be in your short-term memory, but it's not going to go to your long-term memory unless you're walking around the event going, okay, he has a poodle and he needs to meet a baker. He has a poodle and he needs to meet a baker. But the minute you start talking to another person, you're going to forget about the poodle and the baker and start thinking about she has 4 cats and needs to meet a vet, right? You're going to forget what the other person said. So make sure you take out that Sharpie. That's why we put the Sharpie in the toolkit. Take out that Sharpie, finish the conversation, make some notes. Why? Because you're going to do number 10. You're going to follow up. My best recommendation for following up after a network event is a power note. It's a note that simply says, it was so great to meet you, loved hearing about your poodle, I'm actively searching for a baker for you, would love to get together with you sometime, give me a call, here's my phone number. Well, that's if you want to get together with them. If you don't want to get together with them, a simple acknowledgement that you heard them and that you hope they had a valuable time, that they got value out of the networking event, and that if you can ever be of service with your product or service, they can feel free to call you, maybe enclose a business card on those. So you want to make sure that you follow up, because in my experience, what we do as entrepreneurs is we go, and if we like them, we put them in this pocket, and if we don't like them, we put them in that pocket. Then we go home and we pile them up on our desk with the intention of following up, and we never do it. Right? And then those piles get really big and we put rubber bands around them, and then we have piles of shame. And then when the piles of shame get too numerous or too large, we put them in the drawer of guilt, where we've got all these names. And I like to think of it, one of these days I'm going to do a commercial that looks like this. It's going to be a professional who opens the drawer, and all the people are going to be like, follow up with me, you forgot to follow up with me, right? Because that's what's in your drawer, is hundreds and hundreds of people in your drawer that thought you were going to follow up and you never did. And that may not have a huge effect on your professional credibility because, hey, nobody follows up, right? But it does have a huge impact on your personal integrity. If you said you were going to follow up, you need to put time on your calendar and have a system for following up. Put systems in place for following up and block out time for following up. That is the most important thing you can do, because if you've set your objectives, done your research, acted like a host, not a guest, you've connected with people, you've used the funneling conversation, you've given out your card when asked, when you've written your notes down, you've done all the work, you got to the one place, right? You got it all put in place, and then you don't do the one thing that's going to turn into money, which is follow up and create the relationship going forward. In the end, remember that networking is not prospecting. Let me say it again. Networking is not prospecting. Networking is going to a place, going to an event with the intention of introducing yourself to people for mutual benefit. It's where you go to to create mutual benefit for people and really start to initiate those kinds of contacts. The real referral marketing begins when you follow up with that person, when you have the appointment, and when you start to build the synergy. So remember to focus or network with a focus on expanding your network, expanding the number of connections that you have, and filling the spots on your referral team. Leave the direct prospecting aside. Your referral team is going to help you with that. And network only to fill your gaps or fill the gaps of your referral partners.